My wife and I have been using these extra strength retainer cleaners for quite some time, but we recently came up with a debate. What works better, dropping the tablet into water itself or using one of these ultrasonic dental pods? Today, we're gonna put these two to the test. Same tablet, two different cleaning methods. Is dropping one of these tablets into a bowl of water and then putting your retainers in there enough, or does the ultrasonic dental pod work even better? Today, we're gonna find out. These dental pods certainly look more impressive and they sound more impressive while they're working, so let's find out if they actually work better than water alone. Here's the scorecard that we're gonna use to run this competition. We'll be testing for clarity, crevice cleaning, freshness, convenience, and cleanup when you're all done cleaning your retainer. The directions on the box say to drop one single tablet into a cup of warm water, soak your retainer or mouthpiece or whatever it is you're cleaning for 15 to 30 minutes, then rinse the retainer under running water and dump out the excess. When you use the ultrasonic dental pod, this only runs for 5 minutes, or about 5 minutes, and then it shuts off. But for this experiment, what I'm gonna do is I'll fill both up with water. I'm gonna use distilled water. That way we don't have any impurities in the water whatsoever. We're gonna fill them up both with water, the exact same amount of water. We'll drop in a tablet. I'll turn this on. We'll let them run for 30 minutes. So once this shuts off, I'm just gonna let it soak in there and let it continue to clean. These are the retainers that we're gonna be using in our test. These are my very old nighttime Invisaligns that I've held onto for some reason. I've added the distilled water and now the M3 retainer cleaner tablets. We drop in the retainers, turn on the dental pod, and we're off to the races. After 30 minutes, here's how the cup looks. And here's how the pod looks. After I remove the retainers, here's the amount of residue left over from the M3 tablets. There seems to be a little bit more in the cup and less in the pod. Next, I took a Q-tip and thoroughly rub the retainers to see if I could get any type of dirt, grime, or buildup to show up on the Q-tip. But as you can see, both retainers are very clean. I even turned on a bright light underneath so you could see more detail. Aside from normal wear and tear, these both look spotless. Now let's take a look at our scorecard to see how well each method did. Our scorecard was very close, with only 2 points determining the winner, which was the dental pod. The dental pod scored 1 point more in crevice cleaning, and that's because of the ultrasonic vibration, and 1 extra point for convenience because it can have a permanent location on your countertop. Overall, both methods clean extremely well, making M3 Naturals Retainer Cleaner the real winner. So the question comes down to which method you prefer. Let's talk pros and cons for each method. Well, the water method is obviously cheaper because you don't need to buy yourself a dental pod. This method is also much easier to use while you're traveling because putting this into your luggage, it's a little bit bulky and has a little bit of weight to it. With this method, no machine is required whatsoever, only water and time. And it's very easy to store. You don't have to bring this entire box. These are packaged in packages like this, so you can tear out how many you're gonna need while you're away and you're good to go. Potential disadvantages to using the water-only method is that there's no additional agitation. There's no shaking of the water or vibrating of the water. You're only relying on the tablets to do all of the work. Because this method isn't agitated, it might leave more residue left over from the tablets inside of the container and possibly inside of your retainer. So you'll have to rinse a little bit more thoroughly. Also, your appliance is just gonna sit there. It's not gonna move around. When it's in the pod, it tends to vibrate and you can see it kind of floating up and down. So there's movement. And the final possible con is that this is just less visually and audibly satisfying. I love the sound this makes, and I love taking off the lid and watching it do its magic. Now let's talk pros for the dental pod. This does have more active cleaning going on. The ultrasonic vibrations means that there's going to be movement and everything's going to be moving around your retainer, hopefully cleaning it even better. If it's moving, it's going to have better access to get into those tight spaces, all of the nooks and crannies of your retainer. This method is also more hands-off. You simply drop in the tablet, put your retainer in, and hit the button and walk away. When I use my pod, I do tend to leave it in there longer than 5 minutes. In fact, a lot of times we'll put ours in there in the morning, we'll turn the machine on, and then we'll leave it soak until we need it again that evening. You will notice that the blue water inside will turn clear by that time. I tried to capture that on video for you by doing a time lapse, and it just took forever and my battery died, and my wife said, "What are you doing? That's gonna take like 6 hours." So we ditched that part of the video, but eventually you will see that the water in both cases turns completely clear after several hours. Now let's talk potential disadvantages. This is a little bit big and it's going to take up space on your countertop. So if your countertop is already crowded like ours is, finding a space for this, and you also have to plug this in, so there's gonna be a wire coming out and you have to plug it into the wall, so that can be a bit of a hassle. The other possible con is that you do need to dump this out and rinse it out, but you also have to do that with the water-only method. The other con is this is of course going to be more expensive than using water and a cup alone. And the final possible con is that, as you saw in the video, the difference in cleanliness was really not that different. Like, this does a great job and this does a great job. I believe that how long you leave it in there makes a very big difference. Based on my experience, I would say that the water method is better for people who don't have a lot of countertop space and for people who travel all the time. So when I travel, I don't bring my pod, I only bring the tablets, and I find a cup and I just use tap water. However, when I'm home, I really like having this on the countertop. It feels like I'm doing something, you know, it's part of my ritual. I open this up, I fill it up, drop it in, hit the button. When I hear that sound, I feel like, oh, they're being cleaned, and that makes me feel pretty good. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried this and if you've used the water method or if you've used a dental pod and which one you prefer. Regardless of whether you use the water method or the dental pod method, I think that this is an amazing product. It really does make you feel like you're doing a good job keeping your retainers clean, and I definitely recommend it. If you'd like to check these out, there are links in the description below. Please do me a favor and hit like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.